Sure.
Hadia, you can say. Should I sit here?
That's your microphone. Pour yourself some water in case you want.
Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. BLT, as we are all familiar, Bushy runs together. It's one of the prides and joy of our community. A chance to come together on a weekday evening to learn about some of the key matters happening in our world and how we should think about them. It's really great that all of you are here this evening. But even more importantly, that Hadia is with us for this really, really important session about something which has touched the lives of us from a little bit further afield. But this is really an opportunity for more of a first-hand understanding of Afghanistan, what's happening there, as well as, of course, how it's affected those who come to this country as well. This is the second of our three-part series. Next Wednesday will be the finale, in which we will welcome the Chief Rabbi, who at the moment is in Scotland, discussing, educating, and listening about everything that we need to know from COP26 regarding the importance of going green. And he will be coming here as one of his first engagements after that conference to talk to us about what he's learned and what we can hopefully learn as well. There are a number of things further going on as well. We will be having a Hebrew reading crash course, which is a 6-part series in really getting a precision in Hebrew reading. Jacqueline will be running as well Torah in a nutshell to teach how each of us can learn through Torah and connect to it in our own personal way. That's also a series. Both of those will be done on Zoom. We have as well Hanukkah on the horizon, and we look forward to having our communal lighting, but also really exciting to announce as well a communal dinner on Friday night that we'll be sharing together. More news and bookings to go live tomorrow. But I'm going to hand over now to Jacqueline, who will be leading the interview this evening. Thank you all for joining us, and over to Jacqueline.
Thank you very much. As you all know, being married to an American rabbi means that Elchanan tends to like to really keep a very quiet profile, right? So when we were asked to do a collection for some of the local refugees, we were shocked to see how suddenly Bushy United Synagogue was everywhere, right? People on every news channel, we suddenly, from one single message that went out on social media, and we have to give a big plug to Melanie and Deborah and the Bushy Gives Back. It was unbelievable to see how suddenly just everyone got together, everyone galvanized together and really wanted to be able to help. But for me, really, the most exciting thing about our refugee collection was getting a chance to meet some of the wonderful Afghan people who've come to stay in our community, and especially to meet Hadia. Most of the men that we met could speak English, but hardly any of the women can. And to be able to really connect with one of the women from Afghanistan was something that was really very special. Hadia, it's really an honor to have you tonight, but even more so an honor to call you our friend.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. First of all, I want to say everyone hello and good evening. I'm really honored and very happy to be here with you guys. Thank you so much.
So Hadia, please describe to us a little bit what your life was like in Afghanistan growing up.
So the years which my childhood was in that years, it was partly good because on that time the Taliban's government was fell down, and with the beginning of the new government, the elected government, we were very happy. Like we were going to schools beside our brothers, and the women were allowed to work, and like we had a free life in my childhood and my young when I was young. So it was, we can say that it was partly good for me.
Were there some things that were difficult?
There were difficulties at that time also, but if we consider to this time, it was pretty good for us because this time it's very difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I know that you came to work for the Ministry of Women's Affairs. Explain how that happened. What made you decide to work with them, and what led up to you coming to work for that agency?
As a woman at the community, when I looked around, there were a lot of women that they were not even aware of their very, very basic rights. And also there were educated women that they were at their houses and they didn't work outside. And a lot of more problems there were around our community. So it led me to decide to work with a ministry that I can help two women. So there was no good platform than Ministry of Women's Affairs for me to work. So I tried my best and I passed a little examinations and tests to enter to the Ministry of Women's Affairs and work for the women.
And what did your family think of this? Were they happy for you to do this, or was it challenging that you worked for the women's?
Fortunately, my family is very bright-minded people. My mother, especially, my father also. They encourage me to work for the people. Especially, my mother is educated, and he also saw a lot of struggle during her time. Even she told me that she was going to school hiding from his father, and like everything was hidden from his father that she was going to school. And my mother encouraged me a lot to work for the women. Yeah.
And your father as well was supportive?
Yeah, my father also, he is very supportive man.
Okay, wonderful. And what progress did you see? What was involved whilst you were working for the ministry? What sort of projects were you involved with, or what sort of progress did you see at that time?
As I was working with the Department of Women Affairs, which is related to Ministry of Women's Affairs in a province named Badakhshan. So as a teamwork, we had lots of achievements, big achievements, that I just listed them. I would like to read it for you guys. Like, sorry, like holding awareness programs for women, especially for women in villages. Like the programs were about law of elimination of violence against women, law of prohibiting harassment of women, and also civil and legal documents, giving awareness that you have this right, you have that right. You can find in Afghanistan mostly in districts that they even don't know the basic rights, that what rights they have. So we hold a lot of awareness programs for them, and also recording and following up the violence cases. We just created a very regular database. We just recorded and following up with the related departments. And we tried a lot for women to access to education, health, and employment. Also, we worked about creating supporting service program for all women in need. Like there were women that they have lots of economic problems and they didn't have like husbands or big son to help them. So we found those women and helped them like uh, we talked to international communities, international offices, and collect supporting like economic supporting for them and bring it to them. Also, another achievement was creating kindergartens and workplace for women. That before there was no workplace, no kindergartens and workplace for the women. Also, establishing gender focal points in all districts for connecting villages with women to capital. Like in Afghanistan districts, there are women that they even don't know that they didn't know that they have right and they didn't come to the capital of the city to access to a lot of services. So we established gender focal points and we connected those women to the capital. Also establishing women market, we established a lot of markets for businesswomen, for entrepreneurs, for supporting their products and to show to the people, and it was very supportive for them. Organizing exhibitions for women handicrafts, it was also another achievement. And another thing was very important, that decreasing of mothers' mortality. It was like before mothers didn't have access to good health, especially in pregnancy period. So we worked a lot with the Ministry of Women, with the Ministry of Health, and we worked together to decrease the mother's mortality. Also, gender expansion in every department was one of our achievements. It was very like I wrote it short. We had lots of achievements. Yeah.
So it's amazing. It's so inspirational to hear
Thank
how you really made a difference for women in Afghanistan.
Yeah, it was a teamwork of all of the members. Yeah.
How many people were working within the ministry?
In the ministry in Kabul province and in the capital, there are more than hundreds people. But in our departments, it was like 20 or 15 people in departments who were working in the province. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
It's really inspirational, Hadia, to hear how you made such a difference for women in Afghanistan. Was there a lot of resistance to any of the changes that you were trying to make? Did you find any difficulty with any of it?
Yeah, even in all this period of time, we faced a lot of security problems with us. There were these Taliban's parts that they didn't want us to work. They were resist to our work. They didn't want the Ministry of Women's Affairs to be active. We faced a lot of problems in our work.
And apart from the Taliban, was Afghan society in general open to the changes that you were making, or some people were, some people weren't? How did you find?
Yeah, there were different people. Some people, they were with us, they were like supportive, but there were many people also, they had like that idea of not working of women outside their houses.
And would you say that was mainly men, or there were some women as well who were opposed to the changes you were making?
Mostly men.
Mostly men.
Yeah, mostly men.
Yeah. So the women were happy to be given the opportunities. And
Yeah. Women in Afghanistan, they really love to work. They really love to be active. But unfortunately, there are men behind them that they don't let them.
It's really incredibly important, the work that you were doing.
Oh, thank you.
And maybe you could explain to us what changes you started to see, and when things started to change for you, when it became obvious that, you know, the work that you were doing, that you were in danger, that things started changing. Describe to us what happened.
Recently when the Taliban come over to Afghanistan, first they started to enter to the provinces. So as soon as they get to go to every provinces, their first work was to close the Department of Women Affairs, and also the idea of where women should wear this, women shouldn't wear this. Also, the idea of the girls shouldn't go to school, the girls shouldn't go to universities, the women should stop their work. So everything was like every rule was directly. They set these rules directly to women. And they said that if you don't obey us, so absolutely we will kill you and we will arrest your family members. And it's very like living in Afghanistan in that situation. It's really difficult. If you are there, you can feel that it's really difficult. So I could see these changes when they came. And when they came to my province, so we leave our province and we moved and skipped to Kabul. We just left our house, our home, and we went to Kabul.
So literally, like overnight, you just took your things and you.
Yeah,
You went?
we just went back. We just had a chance to get to the airplane. So we just like it was like skipping. We just skipped from our province and went to the airplane and went to and moved fastly to Kabul.
And was your fear to move was more because you worked for the women's ministry or because of your husband's role? Maybe you can explain a little bit.
Actually, to be honest, yeah, for both of us, it was difficult. For my husband also, because he worked for with the British military. It was a danger for him, and now currently he was working with the United Nations, so it was dangerous to him and for me as well.
And when the Taliban came to your province, the allies had already left, or how did that work? How did that unfold? The soldiers had already left, or they weren't in your area? How did that happen? Explain that to us.
Yeah, there were. You cannot imagine that their faces, like in a city, a person come that you think that this person came from the jungle, like very horrible faces with the very horrible clothes. They just with the guns. When they entered the city in our place, every children, women were very afraid, and for lots of days, the city became like dead city. There was no one. No one went out from their houses. No one was in the city. The city, which there were in the normal days, there were a lot of people. They had like small businesses, shops. So for a lot of days, everything was closed. Yeah.
So the streets were empty. Everyone was hiding in their houses.
Empty. Like the city was not breathing.
And when you came to Kabul, what happened there?
We came to Kabul. Fortunately, there was one of my uncles living there, so we went to his house, and me and my husband just we thought that we cannot live here because this a lot of years that I struggled to study from my childhood. Then I was apart from my family for the 4 years, and I went to university. It was in Kabul. My home was in my province. 4 years of being afar from your family, and also 2 years of master's degree out of the country, being far from my husband, and also this all years hard working. It was like a risk for me if I lived there. I couldn't put this much struggling to a risk. And also my husband said if I be there, so we cannot work. The economic situation of us, it would become worse. And also most important thing and issue for us was our son. We didn't want our son to grow up in a atmosphere where Taliban rules and they put regulations for people. Even for women, they put a lot of to do and not to do list. And for even for boys, they put rule regulations. They generally they don't want education. They don't want work like 100 years before. They want some government like this. So because of me, because of my husband, and mostly because of my son, we wanted to leave, and we applied for the British Council for visa, and fortunately, we were very lucky that they accepted, and very shortly they could they could take us here.
How long were you in Kabul before you were able to get a visa to come to England?
It took 2 weeks or more than 2 weeks, 2 3 weeks, yeah,
So everything happened very, very quickly.
very quickly, yeah, very quickly.
I think that part of the trauma and the challenge for you must be the shock of going from your province, suddenly overtaken by the Taliban, suddenly having to move to Kabul, suddenly
Yeah.
coming to England. It all happened so quickly, didn't it?
All happened so quickly. Even you can you guess that I couldn't say goodbye to my mom. Yeah, I couldn't say goodbye to my mom, to my dad, to my brothers, and to my sisters. I just took my phone and called my father. I couldn't speak to my mother that I'm going very long, very far from you. I just talked to my father and said, please tell to my mother because I'm leaving, because I knew that she would be very upset that her daughter is going very far from her. Yeah.
It's heartbreaking, Hadia, to hear. You know,
Yeah.
we all feel so much for you to have left your family. And I know we spoke about the idea that, you know, this idea of for our community, it rings very close to home. You know, I told you my grandmother was
Yes.
a little girl when she said goodbye to her parents, and
Yeah.
you know, nobody should have to
Yeah.
be forced to leave their home.
Yeah, you know, when you were in a country, when you are in your country, leaving your country is not a easy thing, not a beautiful and a nice thing for you. Like it's like leaving your mother's house, and going somewhere else. So this trip was like that for us. I just felt very broken. I came here with tears all the way. I was crying that what's really happening with us, what's our guilt, why this happens to us. It was a tragedy.
It really is, and to know that your family is in Afghanistan and are you able to be in contact with them now, or it's quite difficult?
Fortunately, because of this network, so we can get connected with them through social media. I can talk to them, and but I am very worried about them because my mother is a teacher nowadays. She cannot go to school, and my brother was also working for a governmental department. He also cannot go to his work. So the economy situation is getting worse day by day for everyone, for my family as well. I'm really worried about my family, my friends, and especially my colleagues because I'm in touch with my colleagues. They're telling me, Hadia, that some nights the door is knocking and there are Taliban outside of the door and they're asking for us. So you cannot imagine this, that how terrible is this? And 2 o'clock a.m. and 3 o'clock there is a knocking at their door and they're calling for the lady. and I'm really worried about them, and I don't know what to do for them. Yeah, just pray
and you know, our community is praying for you and your families and the people in Afghanistan as well. And I think one of the reasons when we put out this call for a collection, why people just came from everywhere, was people feel so helpless that we can't do anything to help the people in Afghanistan. And I think that's, you know, we are praying for you as well, and for the people who are stuck there. But this helpless feeling is really so difficult.
Actually, I would like to say thank you so much from my heart, because when we left my country and we came here, I met you guys. I met you. I met Melanie and met many other friends that I don't remember the names, because the names are a little bit difficult for me to remember because I'm new. So you came here, and I felt just like, okay, I have sisters here also. I have brothers here, so this is my second home. And the cooperation, the help you did for us, it was a lot to us, and thank you so much for that.
It's like I said, it's a small thing that we can do, and we wish that we could be able to help the people back in Afghanistan as well.
Thank you so much.
We will continue to pray for them. And Hadia, do you see any hope for the future of your family and your friends who are stuck in Afghanistan? Do you have a dream of how things could be okay?
Actually, I can say yes, but there is a but. If the international community, if the United Nations, they should not accept the government of Taliban. They shouldn't identify them as an official government. So it will be a way. But if they accept, they should put pressure to Taliban that they take these nonsense rules from women, for not working them, for not being, for not letting them to be educated. So the international community should pressurize them for not putting these rules. So I think it will be, if it happens, there will be a hope for my family and my friends and my colleagues there. Yeah.
It's difficult to imagine that democracy can work with the Taliban, and I think that's the worry. You worked for democracy, and you see the strength in that.
Yeah.
I think we all hope that there will be a way to make the future brighter for everyone.
There is, as I said, there is two ways. One, they shouldn't accept the government, and at the second hand, they should pressurize them. This is two ways that possible. Otherwise, everything is finished.
Yeah. I know when I was speaking, actually, when I met you the first time, and I was speaking with you and your husband as well, you were talking about some of the mistakes that you think happened that allowed this kind of vacuum to exist where the Taliban could come in. You maybe you want to explain a little bit how you think that things went wrong.
As a citizen of the country, it's my idea. It's some people's idea also that there was some mistake in the government with our president, that they gave the government, the hand of government to hand of Taliban. We think that these wrong things happened. It's because of our government, our president, the high level people that they work with the government. It was their hand also. It's my own idea, and some people also.
Okay. So Hadia, if we can think about once you were able to get a visa to leave Kabul, describe to us what happened from that point onwards. How you left Afghanistan and how it was coming to here to the UK.
As I said before, leaving my country was not good, not a good thing for me, not a beautiful moment for me. It was all a tragedy moment for me, for everyone also. Everyone was like in a hurry, just escaping from a very terrible moment and going to the airplane and coming here with a little bag that when in back my country it was when we came it was summer, so when we come here it was like fall and-
London in August.
yeah it was London
As you
in
know, it's
August.
every season.
Yeah, so
It was cold
for
when you came.
yeah for people that they lived that day it was very difficult that maybe you could see at the media that what happened like all the people were in terrible and very hurry, hungry, no food, no water, nothing, just uh, putting ourselves to airplane to escape from the country.
And you came straight from Afghanistan
Yeah,
you said, I think, was it to Manchester?
yeah. First we went to Manchester and we were 10 days in quarantine. Then we
Yeah, so
came
COVID
here.
made it more
Yeah,
complicated as
more
well. You had to all
complicated.
quarantine.
Yeah.
And then you didn't see anyone, and you weren't meeting. You had to stay within your room.
Yeah,
In
in
quarantine.
10 days we didn't see anyone. We were stuck in one room because of the COVID. So after 10 days, when we came to Watford, so I could meet people, I could meet you guys. Yeah.
And what would you say are your hopes for you and your family's future here in the UK?
I really hope from bottom of my heart that I still hope that I could continue my educations, and my husband also he also want to continue his educations.
Hadia, you told me you explained to everyone you nearly finished your masters. You told me you had one more exam to sit.
Actually, my master, I mean the I finished my studies, but I left my two exams because on that time when I was coming to here, it was my third semester exam. So I missed it. And I missed my fourth semester exam as well.
So that would have
two
been the final exam for your
yeah,
masters.
yeah. I missed two exams, the final exam and the third semester exam. So it's not completed yet. I hope that one day I go to India and get my master's degree.
I'm sure you
Yeah.
will, Hadia. I'm sure with
I really hope
your
so.
strength of character,
Yeah,
you'll find a
and-
way to make it work.
Thank you so much. And we want to be effective and such like effective citizen to UK also. We want to work here. We want to get higher education, and we really hope that our son get his educations completed here. Yeah, we really hope a bright future for us.
Yeah, we hope so too, please God. We were talking just before when we were sitting down that a lot of the Jewish values and Muslim values are very similar.
Yeah.
Do you have any concerns that any of the British values are contradicting or could be challenging with your religious beliefs?
The most important thing for me, especially for me and for my family, is being like a human, and humanity is very important for us. That is shared in the Jewish religion, in my religion, in the British values as well. So I like to follow only the humanity, the kindness, spreading love. That's enough for me. I think there is no concern for me about other things. If these 3-4 things happens to the life will become very good.
That's wonderful to hear, Hadia, because it's, that value of valuing everyone and
Yeah.
sharing love is something that we see from you and that we share with you. So that's
Yeah.
really very special. So I guess that's my final question was going to be about in terms of how you think that your values can add to our society. So I think, that value of humanity and love is something
Yeah.
that can definitely, we've seen in you, and we're sure that will enhance our country and our society as well.
Yeah, when you enter a garden, there are lots of different beautiful flowers. So I think of every religion, every color, everything like a flower. So uh, the different things make things beautiful. Uh, to be in the same way. So I think this differences make it more beautiful, and I like to get positive points from me and my family. And also the most important thing that I said, this humanity and kindness and spreading love and kindness to everyone. That is important.
That's really wonderful, wonderful to hear, Hadia.
Thank
If
you.
it's okay with you, I'm going to ask if anyone in the audience wants to ask some questions. I
go
might,
ahead.
we'll see how it goes. I might repeat the questions.
Okay.
Maybe we'll see how, if there's anyone who wants to ask Hadia a question.
So just a few questions for Hadia.
Good evening and welcome to the community. Not a straightforward question. However, obviously you talked about the women's side, but since the previous Taliban regime, there's been also a lot of freedoms and progress for men. So how would you, it's obviously your own personal opinion, that the speed with which the Taliban were able to spread over the whole country, how comes that there was maybe 300,000 people in the defence, police force and the army, and that they literally just put their guns down, not taking into account the freedoms that you'd had, and that they would lose, just not fighting for democracy, their family, friends. Sorry if it's not a straightforward question, but it's just a big surprise to me.
Yeah. Thank you for your question. You were right that tonight all I was talking about women. These days a lot of children are dying from hunger because the men who support their families nowadays they're jobless. They don't have job. They don't have money. They don't have uh, things to eat. Even I know a lot of people around us and back to home that they just lost their jobs, and this situation is very difficult for men also because in Afghanistan when you are men there is an opinion, an idea that men should support the whole family, not like here that women also should work and support the family. All the pressure is on men's shoulder. So I think this time is very difficult for men also.
And Hadia, why would you say that they didn't fight when the Taliban came? It seemed as if everyone just kind of gave up. There wasn't a big resistance to the Taliban taking
because
over.
the government didn't support them. If they don't support them with what do you call, like the guns, the another material to fight, to food for the soldiers. If the government didn't support, how can they fight? You can imagine.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Hadia?
Since you came here, how do you find it here? It's so totally different from where you come from. I don't know where you're living at the moment, but are you being supported by, are you getting much help?
Fortunately, yes. When I came here and I breathed, I said to myself, I wish we could also breathe like this at my country, because everyone was very happy. The streets, the people, everything was like beautiful because of the calmness. But fortunately, when we came here, we got supported from government for for giving somewhere to live in. for giving food for us. They were more supportive. Yeah, I'm very happy for this. Yeah, thank you so much.
Can you tell me, I have two questions, totally not connected to each other. Firstly, what jobs are women allowed to do? And my other question is, obviously we all thought that from your perspective the Taliban are quite extreme, but now you have ISIS. What is the feeling of the people of Afghanistan that you're aware of about that particular group?
Let me first answer your first question because I didn't get the second one. You
No
should,
problem. I'll explain.
okay. The Taliban are saying that a woman can be doctor and they can be teacher, but they're not letting them to go to universities. So how can we have doctors? This is nonsense. You can imagine, yeah. And also the girls are nowadays the girls are not going to school, and the boys are going to school till sixth grade, not more than that. So it's also something like uh, what should I say? We also don't know what should we do because in one hand they want us to be doctors and teachers, and in the other hand they will not let us to get educated. Yeah, and the second question.
About ISIS, the worry about ISIS coming in. Do you know what that is? The
From-
Islamic, what's it? The Islamic State. Is there a concern that the Islamic State will come in and that's worse than the Taliban? What do people think about that in Afghanistan?
Actually, the thing that Taliban are saying that the Islamic rules will come, this is not our Islam. I don't know. They have that is something from their mind that they put as their mind, and they think that this is right. And my religion, it's completely different, and this is a very bad image of my religion to all the country. If Islam is like Taliban Islam, so.
I think he's asking, you can have even more extreme than Taliban. We call it ISIS, but I don't know what you call it.
Okay,
it's like,
no, I get it.
like in Syria.
I get it.
You know
I
what
get
they
it.
have
Oh,
here.
okay.
Is that a worry for people in Afghanistan?
Yeah. I think, in my point of view, the Taliban and the ISIS, both of them are the same. Both of them are killing people. Both of them are very strict. They have a strict mind. For us, no one is good, and they don't have different differentiation. They're not different from each other, from point of us. Yeah.
Hadia, is it okay if I ask a question as well?
Yeah, please.
So you said that you're blessed to have a little boy.
Yeah.
Yes. Would you want your little boy, when he grows up, to live in the UK, or would you hope that one day he can move back to Afghanistan, to a better Afghanistan? What would you want for him?
Actually, if I said that the situation get changed in Afghanistan, our people, our country need us, need the educated people. So I would like to go to my country if the situation get better. So if it's in hand of Taliban in these rules, we will not go back to our country, and my son as well.
Do we have anyone else who?
I was wondering about the teenage boys in Afghanistan. Are they indoctrinated, or are they forming the army, or do they have to become members of the Taliban, or can they stay independent?
Oh, the teenage
What's happening with the teenage boys now? Are they being indoctrinated? Do they need to join the army, or are they allowed to live independently?
Okay. I have nephews and nieces back to my country. Nowadays, when I talk to them, they are not going to school, and just the Taliban promised them that school will be started, and you will go to school. Then everything will be normal. And just I hear one thing that in every family that there are three male boys, so they will choose one to their army. I don't know how much is it true, but we hear this one. Yeah, but the Taliban promised that the schools will be open for the teenagers, and I don't know, is it really there? It's really true or no? I don't know about this.
Okay.
Thank you for the questions. Hadia, I know that this has not been easy for you to talk about your experience and to come and share your personal life so much with us. But I think for all of us, it's been a real eye-opener to hear firsthand what you've gone through, but also to hear, hopefully, of your hopes for the future, that things should improve for your family, for the people of Afghanistan, and that you should continue to feel welcome and integrated into our society here as well. And your gorgeous little boy should grow up feeling, welcomed and educated and part of, I think that you have so much to add to teach us and to give our society as well. Like I said to you when we met, please God, your grandchild, like I'm the grandchild of refugees, your grandchildren are going to welcome people into this country and help them to feel welcomed as well. One of the wonderful blessings of modern day technology is WhatsApp. And Hadia and I are now WhatsApp friends. Yeah. And I saw this morning or last night even, I think, on your WhatsApp status, it's actually Hadia's birthday today. Yeah. So she's come to celebrate with us. I'm going to ask everyone in the we're going to sing a song for Hadia to wish her happy birthday. We've got a couple of quick words now. So if I can ask everyone to sing together, we're going to sing.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Happy birthday, dear Hadia. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you again.
A real honor to have you here. Thank you so much, Hadia.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everyone.
I know that we all think that Hadia has been extraordinarily articulate and able to speak so well for us, but she was very, very nervous. She was very nervous to come here and nervous that her English wouldn't be good enough or to speak openly. Hadia hasn't left the home that she's been in very often, so this is actually quite a big step for her to come out to join us here. Yeah. And if she feels comfortable, it's hopefully a good sign that she's so welcome, that you are so welcome with all of us. So let's just give once again a very big round of applause. It's really bittersweet that you are with us. It's sweet because we get to hear from you, but it's so bitter about what's brought you to have to be here. And we really, as Jacqueline said, have so much prayer and hope for the future to be better, to be just sweet and sweet, to only have to come for only happy reasons, and only positive visits, to come back and tell us how good things are becoming rather than hopefully not becoming worse. And we look forward to welcoming you, not just you and your husband and your son, but all of the locals to be able to come and to visit our community. It would be the greatest honor for us as a Jewish community to just continue to welcome further. We have a few refreshments for everyone to share, and then there will be, in about 10 minutes' time, the breakout sessions will be taking place. Jacqueline will be running in the back and a session on This Is Us, which is a TV show I have not seen, and but apparently apparently will be quite interesting to discuss. We will have here as well a session on analyzing further Rabbi Saxi's works. We'll be looking at the family and his writings on the family as well. So please enjoy the refreshments. Please as well make sure you're able to join us for the Chief Rabbi's talk. And thank you all very much for coming. Can I take a picture of the two of you together?
Sure, please.
come in front, yeah. We'd be in front of